aim
Yeah,
for and why you're aiming it at those people at this particular time. It's amazing how people don't get that concept of consistency and
no, they
like
don't.
brand togetherness. It's strange.
I find it so odd, and especially with social media, I still think there are so many businesses out there who are just doing stuff and they don't know why they're doing it. They want to be a part of the conversation because they want to be a part of the conversation. It's like, but what are you doing it for? Because if you consider now, for social media, people have, you have a social media team, you work with photographers, you work with designers, all of that is a cost to the business. So if you're going to be spending that kind of money, you want to make sure that what you're doing is going to have a positive impact on your business. It shouldn't just be for reasons of vanity. It should be for reasons of relevance, reasons of, obviously, like I say, your profit margins, all of these things. I think there is a lot of noise out. There's far more noise out there than there is actual meaningful content. And from a business perspective, that's just not sound thinking.
No, it does make a difference, and I think to go back to the earlier point of even when you're posting, there's still brands now who do post and try and be engaging with their posts from time to time, but then don't engage with the comments underneath.
Yeah,
So
I
if
hate
you're going to
that.
post something, be willing to go back and put the work in and put the grind in to
Yeah.
be able to answer the questions, the queries, thank the customers for commenting and for their input and whatever their input may be, positive or negative. It's like I can post in, I can leave in, I can get this amount of likes, but the comments are just the comments. They're fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to touch them. You don't need to mess with them.
That's the thing. And I think one of the things I often say to people is that, the actual visual is only the beginning of the social media process. The actual continuation of it is the comments. It is actually the engagement. That the actual image or the video or the GIF or the meme, that's only a starting off point. You can't, like you said, you can't just post and then forget about it. You've got to then go and put the work in and, like you say, respond to people, engage with people, even if it's just liking one of their comments. There's a process that follows actual publishing. Publishing, if you think about it, in terms of your audience, is just the beginning of the journey.
Yes, that's
And
the
I don't think a lot of people think that way. They just think, oh, let's post it and see how many likes we get, see how many comments we can get. It's like, okay, that's great, but would you not want to boost your comments and boost your engagement by actually being social,
yeah,
which is the
being
point?
in the conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So then, do you think then there's to go back to what you mentioned about doing the talks and kind of teaching and all that kind of stuff? Do you think there's an element of people don't want to do the grind anymore?
Oh,
Like you
definitely.
you you said throughout our conversation, like it's hard work. Some days are easy and some days are nice, and other days they're long. And now going solo, you have even longer days from time to time. But is there an element of someone looks at you now 10 years into your journey, 15 years into your journey, whatever it might be, and says, I want to be where you are in 6 months' time. And you're like, you don't appreciate the grind. You don't
No,
appreciate
they
the hard
don't.
work that goes into it. People just feel a sense of entitlement because
Yeah,
I'm on social. I should have all of these followings because I think I'm cool. So you should think I'm cool.
yeah, I definitely think there is an element of, people want it now. And, whenever anyone says that to me, it's like, it's taken me years to get to this point. And one of the things I always use is years ago, I used to know this woman who was an agent for like musicians and people like that. And one of her musicians was doing an interview, and the journalist asked him, how does it feel to be an overnight success? And the guy just laughed and said, it's taken me 20 years to be an overnight
Yeah.
success. And that's the thing. It's like, I didn't just wake up one day and Harrods had 1 million followers. I busted my butt for years, every single day. I worked every day for 7 years. Christmas Day, I never took a day off. Literally never took a day off. And I think that's the reality of it. It's not what, okay, yeah, I can talk about it now saying, oh, I left them with this amount of followers. But what people don't see is the amount of hours I had to put in and the amount of hard work, the amount of sacrifices I had to make in order to achieve that. And I think people don't want, there are, not everyone, but I think there is definitely um, a case of people not wanting to put in the hard work. They just want, 50,000 followers like that. It's like, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Nothing works that way. Nothing worthwhile comes easily.
No,
It
and like
takes hard work.
like you mentioned before as well with the bots and you can buy followers and all this kind of stuff. It's a vanity thing. I think you have to do the grind to appreciate um, the amount of followers that you do have or the engagement that you do have. And I think I've talked to plenty of brands about what in the most respectful way possible we've called like micro influencers. So they don't have the millions and millions of followers, but they have a few thousand followers, 10,000 followers, 50,000 followers, whatever it might be. But they're in a unique position because they have cultivated their following. They're really, really engaged. They don't have the mass amounts of numbers, but when they post, it means something. When they post, their followers do check it out. They do go and look for it. They do want to know what they're up to because there's that two-way conversation and because there's that willingness to be part of the conversation when they've started it, I suppose.
Yeah, that to me, that's way more important than the number of followers you've got. And I know there's a lot of people out there who would disagree with me, but to me, that's where the value is. And it amazes me how many brands don't see that. They still don't get that. It's like, I knew a girl. She doesn't do it anymore. But she started and wanted to become an influencer, and she only had a following of like 500 people. So her following was very, very small. But her engagement, Brad, was ridiculous. Like she'd get 700 likes, she'd get 1,000 comments. And the reason why she got them is because she engaged with every single person. Every comment that everybody left, she always replied. She always engaged. She had, she drove sales as well for brands. She'd post about something that she really, really liked. Some of the time she wasn't even paid for it. And she would drive people to buy these products. It was amazing. But she doesn't do it anymore. So, and that to me, a 500 following, that's not a massive following, but it resulted in crazy engagement.
Yeah, because and the thing is as well, like you were saying before, sometimes she might not have been paid to post product and stuff like that, but her followers knew that she valued the product. It was a product she would use. Like you can have followers now. We've done it in the past with different brands that we've been working with, where they'll have influencers post and post and post. They post your brand, and then they post a competitor's brand, and then they post another competitor's brand, and it's like not one of them product means anything to you. It's quite pretty clear that you're getting paid for it. So all it is literally a picture, and you're done. But when you have that micro influencer space that we said, where if you're posting something, it's got depth, and your followers know it's got depth, it makes a difference. It really does make a difference to people.
Definitely. But the sooner, more brands get on board with that, the better.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Okay, then. So we've talked the whole journey and everything else, and I suppose what we'll do in the little wrap up bit that we do at the end is our quick fire. So now you have seen these questions before, so none of them should be too shocking. But what we'll do is just really fly through, see what you say, and see where we get to with our quick fire questions. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So you've been in social for years and years. You've done the whole thing. Which is the app that you can't live without?
My app for me at the moment is an app called Snapseed. Because thing is, I'm not a professional photographer, so I kind of had to learn how to take a decent picture. So Snapseed for me, it just really makes my images pop, and I just absolutely love it. I don't post anything without taking it into Snapseed and just making sure it looks incredible. Obviously, I don't edit it to the point where it looks completely different from the original, but it's just things like brightening it up, the sharpness of it, just things like that. So yeah, Snapseed is my app at the moment. I absolutely love it.
Excellent. Okay, so if you haven't checked out Snapseed, check out Snapseed. Lisa endorsed it now, so it's got to be good. Okay, so next one is your favorite book, one that you've read multiple times, one that inspired you, or one that you go back to every now and then to just learn something new from.
My favorite book is Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela, because it's just when you read about his life and the struggles that he went through and what he endured, it leaves you speechless, but it's just incredible. And for me, as a person of color, as a black woman, people like Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, people like that, they fought for civil rights. They fought so that people like myself could have, the civil liberties that we have today. So for me, especially when today we live in a world where it can be quite frivolous, it can be quite vacuous. It's really good. It serves as a reminder to me, you know what, there are people who've gone through real struggles to kind of set up, the world that we live in today so that we can have a better standard of living. Even things like with the suffragettes, fighting for women's rights, for women to have the right to vote, all of these things throughout history, people have, really fought for us to be able to live the lives we live today. So I really like reading stuff like that. But yeah, Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela is probably my absolute favourite book.
Nice. It sounds like it puts a lot of things in perspective.
Definitely
like
does.
we were saying before about social and people's opinion and stuff like that. When you read things like that, like I'm big on autobiographies and stuff, and I love reading about how people got to where they are and different things, like similar to Nelson Mandela's book. Although that's one I've never read before, and it does put things in perspective. And like you say, people have an opinion, and sometimes your opinion is not really. It's not a valid opinion about the situation. You need to understand that there are people who've done more than you've done.
Exactly.
To achieve things, kind of deal.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay. So we have the book then, the Long Walk to Freedom, that inspired you the most. So is there a quote or a saying that means a lot to you, that is kind of means a lot to your business, or you come back to every now and then just to pick yourself up?
Yeah, it's a really simple one, and it's from a song. It's like, "Don't worry, be happy," because I just think for me, I am really driven by a desire to be happy. And by that, I don't mean waking up every day full of the joys of springing out of bed, because we all have good and bad days. But I think what I mean by that is being able to be happy in spite of, not having such a great day, or understanding that things are not always going to go to plan. Because, I am sometimes guilty of being a bit of a worrier. But I think for me, I get to the point where I just think, you know what? Worrying does not serve any purpose, so you just need to stop doing it and just focus on being happy and just being grateful, because there are a lot of people out there who are in worse situations than we are. So yeah, my quote that I always go back to, and I write it in all of my notebooks, is "Don't worry, be happy."
Nice. You know what? It's funny how many people do start the day with just a small sense of gratitude, and if you can find one thing that you feel blessed to have in your life, or to be proud to have around you, it makes a difference. It's one of them nice things.
Yeah, really nice.
Good, cool. Okay, so our last question then is the one thing you would take to a desert island.
Well, I kind of debated on this question because I thought, would I take my mobile phone? What would I take? And I just decided I would take my favourite drink, which would be a case of Prosecco.
Okay, good answer. You know what? This seems like a really silly question, and when I was like putting the podcast together and stuff and coming up with these questions, it was like, oh, is that a lame question? But you know what? It's really funny how people see different aspects of themselves and just like, you know what? I'd be on a desert island and I'd be like, yeah, just Prosecco's for me, and all the different answers that we have, which I won't spoil anyone's because there's more coming and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's one of my favourites, because it's always like a cheeky little bit on the end. I like it.
And it gives you an insight into people as well. What would you take? And I think, my sister would probably take, a good book or something, whereas I just think, nah, I'm just going to take something that I know I can have lots of fun with.
And just give it the guns and go. Nice. Right. Well, Lisa, it's been an absolute pleasure. And again, I'm so grateful that you agreed to come on the show and let me interview you again and stuff like that. It's been really interesting from even from my point of view, having known your journey for so long, to get these insights into it and the different experiences and stuff like that. So I just want to say a massive, massive thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I hope everyone finds it really interesting.
I'm sure that they will. So before we go, just one last thing before we go. Where can everyone find you on your social? Do you want to throw out your social links?
Yeah, so I have two. So my work one is the social word. So it's the_social_word. And then if people want to follow me on my personal Instagram, it's Stylisa, which is at STYLISA. But just to warn you, there is a lot of stuff on there about Prosecco and chips and things, because that's what I love. So yeah, so please do follow me and reach out and say hi and give me a like or a comment. I really look forward to it.
Cool. Just to push that one home, there is a lot of chips and a lot of Prosecco. I follow Lisa for a long time, and she does like chips.
There's a bit less though now because I've started going to the gym. I've got a personal trainer. I've started eating a bit more salad, even though it makes me feel sick to do